Hello there guys and welcome, it is Niran here and today it's time for me to bring you yet another FIFA 17 career mode top tips video, and today I'm bringing you the best teams to use for Road to Glory career modes. I said if I would do this story if you guys smashed 250 likes on the original best teams to manage video and you guys went above and beyond that. So today I'm bringing you this video of the best teams that you can use if you're wanting to do a Road to Glory career mode for different reasons, whether it be for good youth academy career modes or whether it just be because they're running out of money, or you know they were once a very good team in their division or in their country. There's many different reasons. If you do go on to enjoy the video though, feel free to hit the likes button and subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. First of all though, we have got Portsmouth. And I just thought I'd get this one out of the way. I just thought I'd get the obvious one out of the way, because Portsmouth are perhaps the most obvious team to use for any sort of Road to Glory career mode. Financial board expectation is very low. They've got £1.5 million, which is not bad for a League 2 side in England. A lot of teams will be in England because there's more divisions, obviously, in England on this game. So it's sort of just natural, really. You can see, though, Portsmouth, 2.5 star, playing at Fratton Park. A very good team because they were once very good. Won the FA Cup in 2008, were a main staple really in the Barclays Premier League before running into serious financial difficulties. After that we've got Greuther Fürth from the Bundesliga 2, or the second Bundesliga. Now this would be a massive challenge, and actually a quite good team to use for a YSL career mode, I think, really. And if you don't know what that is, that's basically where you only use youth academy players for the series, and then obviously take them to the top. Financial is a very critical board expectation, and youth development too, so there's going to be a heavy influence, emphasis even, on using young youth academy players for this career mode. Obviously in the second tier of Germany, £1.5 million to use. They were in the top tier of German football actually very recently, so it'd be quite nice to get them back to where they were a few years ago too. Next up we've got AFC Wimbledon, a very unique case, certainly in England. Financial is critical, which is a bit annoying, but obviously the rest of the board expectations are very low, so there's not too much pressure on actual results, but obviously you want to get them back to the top. AFC Wimbledon, of course, for those that don't know, used to be a very successful team back in the day. They won the FA Cup back in the 90s / the late 80s. They were again a main staple in the Barclays Premier League, went out of business completely, turned into the MK Dons, but then the fans recreated the team AFC Wimbledon, brought them from the bottom of English football amateur-wise, and then got them to League 1 now. So again, a very good team to use for a Road to Glory because they've got a very good backstory. Next up, we've got the only team from Italy in this video, and it's Benevento. £6.2 million is the biggest transfer budget in this whole video, which is a very large amount actually for an Italian second division side. This is actually the first time that Benevento have ever been in the top 2 tiers of Italian football. So it'd be quite nice to get them from being minnows, never even coming close to being the top tier, or even the second tier of Italian football, as far as I'm aware anyway. That's what certain websites said. And you know, taking them to the top and actually potentially winning Serie A and maybe the Champions League with them. What a story that would be. After that we've got Bolton Wanderers of England, and yet again this is going to be quite a recurring theme throughout this video. It's a team that used to be very good, certainly during my fairly good at least during my childhood, that have now lost, that aren't really living up to former glory expectations, if that makes any sense at all. Bolton currently in League 1. They were relegated from the Championship last season, I think. £1.9 million, critical domestic success. In terms of youth development as well, is pretty high, so there's a bit of pressure to actually promote youth academy players, which is always good for a Road to Glory as well. We move on to France though. Now we've got Red Star FC. Now if I'm correct, I think this team is from the Paris area. If that is the case, I mean, they're a good team for a Road to Glory anyway, because they're quite the minnows really of the second tier of French football, but I think they're based vaguely around Paris, so it'd be quite a nice story to try and get above Paris Saint-Germain in the French tier, or the French system of football, try and beat the almighty Paris Saint-Germain from the same city vaguely, and then maybe win the Champions League or whatever, take them to the top, being Red Star there of the second division in France. We move now back to England for Charlton Athletic, and we move back for the same reason that we had Fulham, although on top of that, there's a bit of a hybrid really. They've got a decent budget, and also youth development is a critical board expectation, which is always quite good for a Road to Glory, because the likelihood is you're going to be using a lot of youth academy players, whatever type of Road to Glory you're doing. And obviously teams with a critical youth development board expectation, it's a very easy way of getting on the board's good books really, by just promoting players. So that's Charlton, a very good team to use because they were once pretty decent, once in the Barclays Premier League. They've dropped to League 1, and you can also use a lot of youth academy players. We now move on to Real Oviedo, though, a very popular choice when it comes to Road to Glories. I know Spencer FC has a pretty decent affinity with Real Oviedo. I did this video last year, didn't include them, and so many comments told me to put them in, so they are here this time. 3.5 star team. team playing in the Liga Adelante or the Liga 1-2-3, sponsored by Santander. I don't know why every single league in the whole of Europe has rebranded this year, but that's just the fact of the matter. Real Oviedo, they're another decent team to use. Try and get them into La Liga proper and then try and win the league, obviously. Next up, we've got Crewe ALEXANDRA, though. Is this the last team? No, it's definitely not the last team. We've got ages left in the video. Crewe ALEXANDRA, though, next up. 1.5-star team from League 2, which is obviously the bottom league on FIFA when it comes to English football. Less than $1 million in terms of transfer budget. Domestic success, is critical, though I don't think you're expected to get promoted. You're just expected to meet the objectives the board give you. There's not much leeway for not meeting those objectives. And again, another team with critical youth development. Crewe ALEXANDRA, very well known for bringing up very good youth academy players. Danny Murphy is a very good example. The ex-Liverpool, vaguely legend, I would say. You know, he was a very good player for Liverpool. So yeah, Crewe ALEXANDRA, again, big emphasis on youth academy players. Next up, we've got Lens of France from Ligue 2 in the French system of football. Again, not too much pressure when it comes to board expectations, apart from domestic success. £3.4 million is a decent transfer budget. Lens actually once came second in Ligue 1, since have been a bit of a yo-yo team, really, between Ligue 2 and Ligue 1. They did have a very good spell in the early thousands. They came second, as I said, runner-up in the top tier of French football in 2001-2002. So it'd be quite nice to just restore them to former glory, even if it was for quite a short period of time. Next up, we've got Blackpool, who have suffered a similar fate, really, to Portsmouth, but in more recent times. Again, Blackpool were in the Barclays Premier League for one season. Had some very good players, the likes of Charlie Adam, and have since then gone into serious financial difficulties, hence why on the board expectations financial is a critical objective, and have dropped all the way down to League 2. They've also got some nice kits as well. I really like their kits this year, so that's another reason to use them, and maybe try and restore them to having a bit of money would be quite nice there for Blackpool. After that, we've got a Spanish team again. It's Real Zaragoza of the Liga Adelante again, £1.9 million. These guys have had some really good players over the years. You know, some really decent players over the years, yet they find themselves in a second tier of Spanish football. Domestic success is critical, financial success is high, brand exposure and youth development are medium, so they're sort of, you know, ones that if you're really going to pander to the board, you probably want to get them done as well. But obviously domestic success and financial success are the main ones, and again, they once had some pretty seriously good players. Next up, though, we move back to England once again, and it's League 2 side Notts County, my local side. The oldest club in the world, the oldest football club in the world. If that's not a reason to use them for an RTG, I don't really know what is. Domestic success there being critical, youth development is medium, £1.2 million in terms of transfer budget, which is pretty good as well for a League 2 side. 2.5 star as well is the sort of rating of the squad. And as I said, you know, the oldest football club in the world, supposedly, that is definitely a reason to use them. And again, they're in League 2, so it's always good for a road to glory. Any side in League 2 really is good for a road to glory. Next up, though, and finally, we have got the German side, KAISERSLAUTERN. 3-star is their rating. Financial success is critical, youth development is high, and domestic success is high. This is really just a challenge. I know they've got £2.7 million in transfer budget. That's actually quite low in comparison to some of the other teams in the second Bundesliga. And you've also got that critical financial objective. So, you know, overall, it's just a very challenging career mode to do. There's no real other reason apart from that. I don't think KAISERSLAUTERN have ever been an amazing team in German football. You know, it's going to be okay for using youth academy players. But just overall, it's going to be a massive challenge. And that's the case with all the teams in this video. You know, it's going to be a challenge to get them to the top. And then, on top of that, start winning stuff domestically and also continentally as well. So, you know, obviously that you want a challenge if you want to do a Road to Glory series. And I feel as if all the teams in this video provide that challenge in their different ways. But nevertheless, that is about it from me. 14 teams, if my maths has served me correctly, that you can use in Road to Glories. As I mentioned, obviously you can use any team that you want in a Road to Glories, not as long as they're not like in a top tier of their football system. Obviously, you know, there's lots of other different teams to use, but I feel as if these are the best ones because of the storyline, or maybe because they're good for youth academy promotion or youth academy players being promoted or whatever, stuff like that. If you've enjoyed the video, though, feel free to hit the likes button, subscribe if you're new around here as well, and comment about enjoying the video if you enjoyed it that much. Let me know what some of your favourite teams to use for Road to Glory career modes are as well in the comment section below. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a great day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye. No.